Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam. And we maintain our lives just for you. Because if the news comes that something happens to us, you won't be able to bear it. And we cannot bear that you suffer, O Krishna. Ashlishapadaраtam vinashtumam adarshanam marma harto karotuva yatha tathava vidata lampato. Oh playboy, you do as you want. We are still yours. Birth after birth after birth after birth. Our life air. Mat prana nath. Pran means it's the life air. When the life air, Paramatma and Atma leave, body is finished. There is a life air that keeps us alive. It's called prana within us. So just like how air is precious to us, Krishna, you are our life air. So Mahaprabhu has attained what he wanted, is the Radha Bhav in the last verse. Last two verses. And he realized how much she loves him. How much she loves him. With the last statement, it is Radha Rani actually speaking that. In separation and in union, both. You are my Lord and Master birth after birth. We pray to God many times. We go to the temple, church, mosque, and then he doesn't fulfill our desires. Then a lot of us become atheists. He's just a piece of stone. He doesn't care. But none of us say, no. Whether you give us what we want or you don't give us, you're still my Lord and Master birth after birth after birth. How many think of that kind of purity of love? So many of us get dejected because of some issues in the temple. We leave the movement. No, never do that. Be like gopis. Whether bad things happen to us or good things happen to us. Prabhupada, your Lord and Master of us. We're never leaving your lotus feet. When we can do that, then we are qualified enough. That sentiment of the gopis is there. Otherwise we go to Vaikuntha or wait in line millions and millions and billions and billions of births. So this Shikashtakam is pure love, highest in theism, undescribable. In these 8 verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the volcano of golden, of divine love has bursted, and this wonderful lava comes out of his mouth in the form of these 8 verses for us to meditate on. That is our yardstick. Now, we may not be able to achieve right away, maybe not in this lifetime, but if you have understood the essence of these 8 instructions, then at least we have a goal. We have a goal to work towards. If I don't know of a place or a thing, how am I going to even think of achieving it? Or how am I going to even work towards achieving it? And then our position is that, yes, now that Mahaprabhu, you are so kind, Prabhupada, you are so kind, you have given us these wonderful instructions of how to surrender, the highest level of surrender. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Swaparshada Siyodam Saha Utari Atyanta Durlabha Prema Kori Baredan Sikhaya Sharnagati Bhakati Rupran. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying in the introductory song of Sharnagati. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, out of his pure compassion for the fallen souls, Jive Daya Kori, Swaparshada, he came along with his associates, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Acharya, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Swaparshada Sviyodham, along with his dham, Navadvip, Mayapur. Navadvip and Mayapur are in Golok also. Thakur Bhaktivinoda has explained that there is a division in Golok. Golok is like a lotus flower in Krishna Samhita. And the center is Golok Vrindavan, but there are other petals or prakostas or divisions. And according to one's ras, somebody wants to worship Krishna in Vatsalya ras, where he is the darling baby boy. He doesn't grow up for them. He always remains that. And they relish that pastime of Vatsalya ras. Somebody wants him as a friend, as a 10-year-old Krishna boy. Eternally he remains, and he's always playing with them, cowarding with them. Time has no bearing there. It's steady. And somebody wants him as his paramour, or her paramour, as the Vrajendrananda Kishore Krishna, the young, youthful boy, then he's eternally that age. Krishna is capable of reciprocating. That is the meaning, the highest meaning of ye yatha mam prapadyate tam sa tathaiva bhayamiham. According to your worship, I will reciprocate. But even that verse has a limitation. He cannot reciprocate fully with the gopis. That verse has a certain limitation right up to Madhurya Ras. But after that, that verse even Krishna says, I cannot repay you. I cannot reciprocate with you. Enough. So Parshada Siyodam Saha Uttari, he came along with them. And Atyanta Durlava, the most rarest of the rarest, Prema, Krishna Prem, Kori Bare Dan, charity. He gave it in charity. No austerity is required. Wake up at 3, chant this at a certain time. After you fast, then you do this. Like in the yajna, you have to fast. And then say the mantras. And after the yajna is finished, then you can have your meals. So much austerity. But this Mahamantra is so kind. Freely is giving. Kori bare dan, take it. Sikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatero Pran. Please show me this process of surrender, O life and soul of the devotees, O Mahaprabhu. This is, one second. We sometimes don't even understand what we have or what we can achieve. Such is our parampara. Such is our Mahaprabhu. Such is our Srimati Radharani. If Radharani gives you shelter, there's nobody in this entire creation that can take you away from the lotus feet of Radharani. She is most compassionate. But in order to reach her lotus feet, there is a proper system, Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations. When we do that nicely and strictly, at some point, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, Guru sees that we are qualified, Prabhupada sees we are qualified. He will open the doors within your heart and reveal more about Krishna, reveal more about Vraj, reveal more about Vraj Prem, reveal more about gopis. Reveal more about your spiritual identity. Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purnam Vritsvadanam. The ocean of bliss, increasing, ever increasing, and tasting Purna Amrit. Purna means Radha Krishna. Amrit, nectar, the nectar of Radha Krishna. We will relish. Just like you relish gulab jamuns, you relish a nice cake, you relish the sweetness of their Madhurya Ras. Yes, Prabhu, you had a question.
Yeah,
Or a comment.
no, yeah, in the 7th verse he expresses this feeling separation and the tears are flowing. But in the 6th verse he is expressing when will the day come when the tears were. So the tears are not there, but there is a desire
Yes.
that he should. Why he's not? In other words, why you are hard-hearted, or why you can't actually express the proper emotions. So, but it comes in the 6th verse.
7th verse.
Now, in the 6th, he expresses the.
He's expressing the desire, but in the 7th verse, actually it happens.
Yeah, that means. But first is the longing and the lamentation, actually. That,
yes.
Yeah. But it's so it comes after the 5th verse. So
5th verse, he's begging to be a particle at the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yeah. So what is the actually requirement to genuinely, because you can also fake that, to genuinely want or genuinely lament that I don't have proper feelings,
Sadhana bhakti first. Proper sadhana bhakti. When we are properly doing sadhana bhakti, following all the rules and regulations nicely, our hearts will soften. And when the hearts soften, our parameters change in devotional life. Our desires change. And when our desires change like that, in humility, then we are begging. And when we are begging, Krishna must give it to us. Because we have attained the level of humility. And then, it is also possible that Krishna will give it to us because of Prabhupada. And when that happens, then we have entered that bhav where Prabhupada has revealed us, our acharyas have revealed us, our constitutional position. And then we feel separation from Krishna every moment, and we are crying continuously. Every moment feels like a millennium. Like we've seen personally in our practical lives, you love somebody, that person passes away. The day that person passes away and you just go to the funeral home and you just finish the funeral and you come back, you cannot sleep, you cannot eat, you're torn apart. Every moment feels like it's a long time. So we have that glimpse. So what to talk about the transcendental feelings when you have attained, when you've gone beyond the 3 modes of material nature by the mercy of Guru, and you have attained that bhav stage, Krishna Prem stage of the bhav of Raj, then it's going to be ecstatic. Tears will naturally flow, and every moment will feel like a millennium. But that will only come. It all boils down to our sadhana, being humble, blade of grass, tolerant than a tree, giving respects to all and not expecting respect. When we practice that, practice it, when that humility develops, then the heart softens. And then when the heart softens, you can beg better. You are a good beggar. And when you become a perfect beggar, then everything is for you. We don't know how to beg. We want to demand, give me this, give me that, give me this. It's our attitude. So it's a self-introspective. This whole Ashtakam is all about so much self-introspection also. Where do we really stand? And then once we know, at least we can pray. Look, I am a nonsense rascal. But this is my goal. Can you help me, please? Genuinely, if we think like that, then Krishna will help us. But if we don't even know our goal, and we think we are all hunky-dory, we are good. Oh, I've been in the movement 30 years, 40 years. I'm pretty good. I'm cool. Finish then. Then what will Krishna give you? If you're thinking that you have it, then Krishna cannot help you because you're not asking. Right? Even Jesus says, ask and you shall get. Knock and the door will open. Something like that, right? Simple basics. You had a question.
Yeah, it was about this verse, that actually you made the point that these qualities, humility, respect, tolerance, it's not just something which comes naturally. I mean, it may come naturally, but we have to work on it. I heard a lecture of our Gurudev, and he said that if you just wait until it comes naturally without working on these qualities, you may wait for a long
We have
time.
to work on it constantly. It's a test every moment. We fail the test in the temple environment. What to talk about outside? We get offended every second if a devotee doesn't do what we want. See, the problem is that we always have our frame of reference. I want. We don't think what you want. It's all about I. And when somebody doesn't give what I want, then I'm upset. So, and that outside world I don't even need to describe. Even within our own spiritual community, we fail every day sometimes. So we have to make a conscientious effort. It's very true. We have to make that effort. And before even making an effort, we have to sincerely pray. That sincere desire is the beginning. Sometimes we don't even sincerely desire because we think we are okay. That's the problem. If we know that we have a problem, a disease, then we go to the doctor. But if we think that we don't have a problem, then we won't even go to the doctor. Like my father, he's very adamant. We tell him, let's go, Dad. I need you to get your checkup. Oh no, I'm fine. It's the toughest thing for us to take him to the doctor. But he has some issues health-wise. So if he agrees to come to the doctor, then that's a great step. Then the doctor can treat. But he says, I'm fine. My brother recently complained that he has stopped taking his medications now. He's so stubborn. What to do? Oh, I'm fine, he says. I don't need all these medications. So the problem is that that desire has to be there. First, we recognize that we have a real issue. Especially Trinadapi Sunichena Taro Eva Vaishnava Manina Mandena. Yes, we are doing so many things in devotional service. Krishna recognizes that also. That is where we are there. Still under that umbrella. Otherwise, we would have been kicked out a long time ago. If Krishna wasn't tolerant with us. If Prabhupada was not tolerant with us. They are so tolerant, that is why we are still here. Otherwise, based on the qualification of pure devotional service, I mean, how many of us really qualify? It's like, if you don't maintain your performance, you're kicked out in a job. Nobody tolerates it. You have your goals, you don't achieve them. Hasta la vista, see you later, alligator. Right? But no, it's not like this here. Take your time. But sooner the better. Work hard. And we should pray for that, for each other. This whole thing, it's about Vasudeva Kutam. It's a family of Krishna. We should feel for each other. If a devotee is suffering, if a devotee is not up to the standard or the minimum standards, we should pray for them. How many of us do that? That compassion has to come. That compassion cannot come if we are not humble or tolerant. If Radharani is not tolerant and humble, how she could have gotten the highest status in creation? Something to think about. Yes, we have to be conscientious and sincerely desire that I have issues. Krishna, I can't hide this from you, but I'm hiding it from myself by thinking that I'm good. So please help me. Beg. Well, chanting the holy name, that's all we can do right now is beg. We are not of that level of Rupa Goswami where we can actually see Krishna's Leelas. Leela Smaran. But we can do beg Smaranam. Right? Yes, Mata.
Sometimes I hear the argument, the devotees say, no, but it feels so artificial when I try to be like humble and respectful. This is not me. Like, how to respond?
No, but you still, even if it is not, I know, many feel like that. But the more we even artificially practice, someday it will turn into genuine. Just like when we are chanting in the aparat stage, it will slowly, slowly turn into abhas and shuddha now. Yes, Prabhu.
Yesterday you mentioned that everything emanates from Krishna, every quality that we have.
Janmadi yasya.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that even greed or anger can be dovetailed to use in the service of Krishna. But how about envy?
Envy?
Yeah,
Oh, it's an interesting question. Envy can be used in a very, very high level, like there's envy, transcendental envy between the gopis. It is there.
so it's coming from there also.
It's coming from there. But ours is what? For a perverted way. Theirs is not really perverted. That's actually to enhance Krishna's love for them. Or rather, Krishna invokes that envy so that their love is enhanced. Even more enhanced for him.
Is it like envy between the left wings and the right
Yes.
wings also?
Left wing and the right wing.
I also remember that the gopis became envious of Krishna's flute.
Ah, yes. They become envious because Krishna is always touching his lotus lips to them. What kind of pious activities that you've done that you got such a position. So that envy is there.
But it's very negative here in the material world.
Completely negative.
Yeah.
Because it's all about our sense gratification. But there it's all about enhancing Krishna's pleasure. Eventually, when the gopis get envy of each other, it enhances their love for Krishna. And when it enhances the love for Krishna, it gives Krishna pleasure. Bottom line is anukulyena Krishna anushilanam tad bhakti ruttama. Anya bilashita shunya jnana karma navritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam tad bhakti ruttama. Whatever pleases Krishna the most is topmost bhakti. So even that quality of envy, eventually it culminates into Krishna's pleasure. So it is of transcendental nature.
It gives like a competition
Yes,
also in
yes. And it gives competition of who can love more. Love. It's all about love. But it's not in a bad way that what we normally are accustomed to, that envy.
Yeah, you spoke about love and lust, and you said that in this material world there is no love, ultimately there is only lust.
Yes.
Sometimes one can see cases where a person, he or she, are offering themselves for somebody else, like parents are offering their life for the children or something. It comes very close to something that one could say is kind of love, but
You could say it comes close to love, but it is not love, because even parents at some point, if you have, let's say, 3 children and 2 are very obedient to you in all respects and 1 who is just a rascal, then even parents, they give up on them. There are still reservations, no matter how good they are, because there is no reciprocation.
even though sometimes it can happen that the parent are offering his or her life for the child in a certain critical situation. Or
It is based on moral principles, morality. And transcendence is beyond morality. Transcendence is beyond morality, it's beyond law. And of course, those qualities are there because those qualities are there in the spiritual world. But ultimately, even with the best of those qualities in this material world, they have some iota of sense gratification in it. 1 second, Prabhu. They have some iota of sense gratification in it. In a very subtle way. It is there. Because to begin with, how many parents produce children for Krishna's pleasure or to save the child from rebirth? It is for their sensual pleasure. They have sex. So how can that person be of a transcendental nature who can understand love completely? True, pure love. Even dogs and kittens and cats and monkeys, they love their babies. Have you seen them? The way they carry them in the mouth and they, feed them and all. But still there is lust there. It's sad because we try to think of examples of our grandparents, of our parents, how much they sacrificed and all. But then we are in an illusory world if we think that they are on a pure transcendental loving platform. Our acharyas have very clearly said that there is no love in this material world. It's all based on lust. And if there was love in the material world, then real love is pita na syat, janani na syat. A mother is not a mother, a father is not a father unless and until one can save that soul from death. So that means they are defective. And that defect, and then predominantly it appears they are as close as possible to love, to those very, very pious souls. But still there is some reservation that, we cannot easily identify. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I just want to add to this point that not only, and another proof that it's not love, not only that there is some reservation, but this love is just to one person. And what about all others? If there was pure love, it should include all others.
Very good point.
Because that's what the gopis.
Yes.
Love to Krishna includes all living entities.
Yes. Yes. Because love for Krishna means, if Prabhupada said, if I love you, that means I have to love your dog. Right? So you have to love all parts and parcels of Krishna. So that same father who would work hard day and night, he will do it for his own son by giving him nice clothes and nice chocolates and everything, but he's not going to do the same thing for the neighbor's son. Maybe he will give one chocolate, but to his son he will give him every day. He will feed him with his own hands. But he is not going to feed the neighbor's child or the child on the street with his own hands.
And ultimately, whatever relation it is, it's connected to the body.
Yes, exactly. And anybody on the bodily platform cannot have that transcendental nature. The transcendental nature has to be rekindled. It has to re-manifest through the process. And the best process is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, Mata.
I have some little comment to this envy. The difference between material envy and spiritual envy is that, like Radharani, she's ready to even serve the opposite party, the other gopis. Just if they kind of can please Krishna, she is ready to decorate the other gopi.
Yes.
Completely. And material envy means destructive. You're ready to kill the other person even.
Yes, very true. Very nice point. We're coming up with excellent points here. That because this gopi, although she's in the opposite camp, but she's giving my Krishna pleasure. So let me enhance the pleasure of Krishna by cooperating with that other gopi also. Here, if a wife finds out that you're cheating, you're out of the house right away. Sleep on the couch, don't come inside. or see you in court. I'm going to take 50% of everything you own and you'll find out very soon. Where is that love? Gone in a flash. Not possible. Because love is something to do with the soul. And lust is to do with the body. And unless and until we come on the platform of the soul, there is no love. We can call it what you want. You can call it Timbuktu, you can call it LOVE, you can call it whatever. But it is not. Make sense? Yes, Mata.
You have mentioned this point so nicely that we think that we are okay. And I heard somewhere it stated, I don't know if it's Rupa Goswami, saying that this is one of the greatest obstacle in our spiritual development, that we think that we are alright.
Oh, that is of course. That is definitely. If we think we have arrived, we have done, we can take care of ourselves, and that's it. There's a nice little pastime about this. One time, one sadhu was having a bath in the river. And he was pretty dedicated, Brahmanical in quality, very rigid in his sadhana and everything. So, as he was having a bath and when he cleaned himself, when he's coming out, there was a washerman washing clothes. And you know how they wash clothes in the old days? They just thrash them on the stone, right? And so all the dirty water or the soapy water was actually splashing. And when he was walking and he was ready to go do his mantras and everything, he wanted to be clean. So, but these drops of dirty water fell on him. So then he requested him, Baba, please, can you wait for 1 second? Let me pass. So he went again into the river, again he took a bath, but this guy went on doing it. And every time he came out, he used to get this dirty drops of water on him. So then, seeing this, Lakshmi Devi tells Narayan, look what's happening to your devotee, why don't you do something about it? So then Narayan comes on Garud and he's flying and this devotee is also seeing that my Narayan has come. So now he comes out for the last time out of the water, or sort of the nth time or whatever it was. And then the washerman is doing this and he's saying, he rolls up his sleeves. Now you let me see what you're going to do. So Narayan then turns back. He can handle himself nicely. He thinks he can do it now. So now let him do it. Or Draupadi, the example. The surrender. She was being derobed by Dusasan. And she held on to her sari with 2 hands. Dusasan had the strength of 10,000 elephants. And she could not anymore hold on with 1 hand. And Krishna is being told by her consorts, Rukmini and all, what are you doing? Your devotee, she's being derobed like this in public. Go, do something. But Krishna doesn't still go. And the point comes when she has to give up everything and surrenders with both the hands up. And at that time, Krishna incarnates himself as the sari. And Dusasan keeps pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling until he drops on the ground. No more strength left. Because Krishna reincarnates himself as the sari. So unless and until we surrender completely, Krishna doesn't want to take charge of us. Because we think we can still do it. That's why he's saying, Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Sarva Dharman. All kinds of religions or all kinds of duties or all kinds of concoctions that you have in your head, that I am able to do this, I am able to do that. Even if there's a slight reservation, then that's not full surrender. Once fully surrendered, Sharanga Sharanagata Hoi Bejar Tar Pratna Sune Vrajendra Kumar. Thakur Bhaktivinoda prays in the Sharanagati introductory song that one who is fully surrendered with the 6 branches of surrender, dainya, humility, atma nivedana, offering everything to Krishna. Manasa Dehagya Jo Kichumora Arpilutua Pade Nanda Kishore. Prabhupada's favorite bhajan. Offering my mind, my body, all my home, all my assets, Jo Kichumor, Arpilu tuvapade Nanda Kishore. I offer it to you, O son, youthful son of Nanda Maharaj. Goptrudevaran, Krishna is my maintainer. Not my degree, not my money, not my bank balance, not my fame. Krishna is my maintainer. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasya Palan. Full faith, like Prahlad, that Krishna will always protect me. Bhakti Anukula Karya Kare Jo Svikar. Whatever is conducive to devotional service, I will accept those activities. And Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjan Angikar. Whatever is not conducive to devotional service, I will reject. These are the 6 limbs or the 6 branches of surrender. And if one has all these, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Shadanga, Shad means 6, like we say Shada Goswami. Shadanga, so 6 branches of these angas. Hoibejar, when one has that, Tar Prarthna Sune Vrajendra Kumar, then the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna will listen to your prayers. Sometimes we think, right? Oh Krishna, I've been your devotee for so many years, chanted so many years, why aren't you listening to my prayers? Why should he? Are you fully surrendered? Are we fully surrendered with all these 6 branches? That surrender, when that full surrender comes, then Krishna takes full charge of us. When partial surrender comes, Krishna takes partial charge of us. And when no surrender comes, Krishna doesn't take any charge of us. Then Maya takes charge of us, her agency. She takes full charge of us. Make sense? Yes, Prabhu.
You answered before I had a question, because it is like to surrender is like a process of surrendering. So, but you also said now that if you are partially surrendered, Krishna takes partially care of you. So that was actually my question. If we are in the process of surrendering, so how he will take care of you?
He is. Don't you feel it in your life?
Yes.
We all feel it.
Yeah.
At least he is keeping us in this movement.
Yeah.
And Maya is not completely overpowering us. We are all in Maya. But still he is protecting us. He's protecting us than that person outside who is simply lost. Each one of us, Krishna, anybody who has taken to this process, he's protecting us. And we should desire more protection. We should feel very vulnerable. When we see somebody fall down, or when we see something wrong happening, it should not be for criticism. Immediately we should say that, Krishna, it could be me, but you are so kind. It's an eye-opener. And we should pray for that soul. This whole thing is about Vasudeva Kutam. We pray together. Satyam Param Dhimahi, or Dhimahi means we meditate. Even when we do the Gayatri Mantra, the last 3 words is what? Dhimahi. We meditate. It is a universal concept. It's just not I. We meditate. It is for the benefit of everyone. That is the concept. We're having this discussion. It's not a chance in one sense, because we have this spark in us. We want to improve. So Krishna makes that arrangements. That's why we are discussing. That's what I feel. That we are discussing these intense topics. There's a reason behind it. Sometimes there are so many sadhus that we come across. Some come and listen, some don't. Even there, Krishna has a very particular reason for that. That not everybody may be interested or that level to listen. So Krishna blocks them automatically by making some excuse that they don't attend. And those who attend certain topics that are meant for our higher elevation, then Krishna knows that this person has that hankering, and that is the reason. Give him a chance or give her a chance. He reveals himself through different modes, different ways. This is the process of surrender. That's all we can beg. Let's become good beggars. And that humility will come. Let us desire. Let us pray for each other. I'm speaking all these elevated topics, and I always internally ask, I really beg the mercy of all the Vaishnavas and let all this come to fruition. Because a lot of it is all theory. It's not that I'm fully realized or I have realizations, but I have this strong desire. So maybe by your mercy and by your prayers, everything that I speak one day will turn into pure realization. And I desire the same for each one of you. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Har vi på Saramen? Är det uppe eller? Ja. Är det öppet uppe eller?
Nej,
Ska du hämta med den?
jag kan hämta.
Du tar med den. Du kan, behöver inte hjälp till. Kan, ja. Ilman hinner. Kan du gå med Lajavati också?
Спроси.